Two tribes, two different directions, two different, drastically different results. The Spirit fills with 10-minute Torah, day number 3, the Torah portion, Pinchas. And by the way, Pinchas means dark-skinned. Chapter 26 of the book of Numbers, Bamidbar. Verse 1 says, "And it came to be, after the plague, the Yahweh spoke to Moshe and to Eleazar, son of Aaron the priest, saying, Take a census of all the congregation of the children of Israel, from 20 years old and above, by their fathers' houses, everyone going out to the army of Israel." So they are numbering men for war. So it would seem. What takes place after this, however, is more about the allotment of territory than actually engaging in battle. Now, the last we heard, Yah says it's time to stir up a fight against Midian. If he's asking them to number the army, one would assume that what the cause is to go fight. Not yet. Let's understand this. There are battles coming. Prayerfully, hopefully, our desire is that that's not of the physical realm. Nobody wants to see war. No one wants to go into that kind of battle. Most definitely, there is a war of the Spirit. Brad Scott of blessed memory put out a teaching a number of years ago about the war scrolls, detailing prophecies from the Qumran caves and from the Essene community in that area, where they prophesied a last days battle, literal physical battle, between the sons of light and the sons of darkness. And it's not as though the sons of light just automatically won. The issue that is going on here is that finally, after this last plague, in which 24,000 men have died, that the systematic ongoing issues of failing and going into judgment and suffering plagues and seeing the wrath of Yah poured out, it seems to stop. And it seems that finally Israel gets a decent head on its shoulders, because up to this point, this moving away from Sinai has been an unmitigated disaster. There is a point in time where the failings stop. There is a point in time where maturity does take root and begin to produce mature fruit. That part of the body of Messiah is yet to be seen to the full, but it's coming. It's developing. We're beginning to see a little sign here and there. There are enough cries and calls for stop the junk and let's get into dealing with our stuff and get real and start growing. Start doing what we're called to do. Those kind of voices are beginning to raise up. Hopefully you're hearing that on this channel. What's interesting here then is that what it seems to be suggesting is that Yah is numbering the army to determine the tribal allotment, which would suggest to us Yah will grant to us an inheritance of that which we have the capability to defend. Why would we entrust an inheritance, a benefit to our children if they have no ability to use it appropriately? It's only going to be squandered and lost. Among the tribes that are counted is the tribe of Simeon. And we would note here that when they are counted, they started out with 59,300 men in the first census. In this particular census, the Simeonites in verse 14 are counted as 22,200. The other tribes grew by some measure, But Simeon has lost 37,100 men. 37,000 men are gone. What happened? It stands to reason that a good guess, with Zimri being the prince of the Simeonites, thoroughly involved in this fiasco with the women of Midian, that perhaps of the 24,000 men that died in the plague, that a majority of them were Simeonites. That's a possibility. Now, we're not told that as much, but that's a good guess. That's a reasonable assertion. What it also is interesting to us is that Simeon means to hear or hearing. Why would Simeon lose his hearing? And it's not just for this tribe, it's for Israel. He had the role of hearing for Israel in some degree. Yaakov and his prophecies over his 12 sons noted that Levi and Simeon had to be separated. When the gold calf issue rose up, Moshe called for those that would stand with him. It was the tribe of Levi that came to him, and they stood with him. Simeon was complacent. We're not hearing anything about any stand that he took. Yaakov warned that if these two got together, that it would be a disaster. And so he separated them, prophetically speaking. Simeon, as the man, the originator of the name and the tribes, was a noted hothead, a man of passion, a man who seemed to act on impulse, especially a violent one. Being passionate without boundaries, without principles, without right structure, without right understanding of truth and having wisdom can get you into a lot of problems. And so it would seem that this is a tribe that has been fueled by their emotions. As a result, they're preventing themselves from proper hearing. Another word we might want to use here is discernment. There has to be the discerning between righteous zeal and emotional passion. We can become very passionate about a particular vantage point of thought or scripture or interpretation, but then there is the righteous zeal that seeks to edify the body, to honor and glorify the name of Yeshua, to exalt Yahweh or Elohim. If the end result of whatever is pulsing through us is the promotion of ourselves, then our passion has overruled righteous zeal and has taken on a different direction. The end result was that many men died. If ever there is a day that we want to walk in wisdom, this is that day. There are a lot of causes out there. There are a lot of media news stories that one can get stirred up about. And if you so desire, you can put them all on a page and you can connect the dots and you can channel one and connect it into the other, and you can come up with some conclusions that you get all excited about and passionate about and see there, especially when it comes to, timelines. Let me offer a thought on timelines. Anytime we see a timeline that is linear, point A to point B, and it's all on a straight line, and we got one event leading to the next event to the next event, chances are it's skewed. Because the Hebraic understanding of time is cyclical, one layer on the other, which means there may be simultaneous events taking place at different levels that we might need to consider. Just a thought for your consideration. So let's keep our emotional passions in check and walk in wisdom and righteous zeal instead. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Till then, shalom.